What's up, Zox fam? We're on day 14, and this is actually a pretty massive day because today we actually get the SSR ticket. Now, this is something that not only coming jam-packed with tons of stamina pots leading up to this point for this second week, but we also have some things that we're considering now. We have the 2x event, we have the Animus reconfigure. So the first thing we're going to actually be doing is obviously summoning, because this is what's going to allow us to really be able to see what we're going to be finally doing. Finally, right? Now, for some people, they actually went the extra mile and they saved their target summon banner for this day specifically, so that they could actually pick based off of not having to worry about getting a dupe or anything like that. So it is entirely up to you on how you want to go about doing that. But ultimately, when it really comes down to it, this is a really important ticket because which people were able to confirm, which I wasn't even aware of with how this ticket works. Not only are you able to basically get every single unit in the game, right? So this is including new units like Hoden and Hoyan just came out and they're on this ticket, which means that technically you could save this ticket for other new releases, right? So that's something you could choose to do with this ticket, and that's entirely up to you on how you might want to use the ticket. But there is no need to use it now if you don't want to, right? If your account's in a stable position, you're like, I don't really need to do anything with it, then you can basically keep it, right? Now, of course, with that, there's also the LDs. There's actually a fairly high chance of you getting the LDs on this ticket. So there are some people that were able to get, you know, a Doki Doki, a Shadow Sania, a Heinrich, whatever it may have been, they were able to get something from it. So there's another thing that could also be an option, is maybe even saving this for, you know, maybe another LD, because every unit in the game gets added to standard pool. So there is no like exemption for LDs. So that would be like my biggest advice there, is like kind of deciding what you really need. Do you need to be pulling? Are you missing stuff? Whatever it may be, right? But ultimately, this is the final hurrah for you to be able to flesh out your account. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and rip ours because we're already here. So let's see what we get, right? All right, so if I get anything, if I get a Shadow Sania, that'd be crazy. But if for RGBs, I mean, dude, Mia would be cool. It'd be a lot of different things I could get. Oh, we got to dupe Shia. There we go. So we ended up getting Shia. Am I mad about that? No, not necessarily. I actually am building her well, not now. I'm building her later, once we have like the ×2 and stuff like that. So that's my dupe right there, right? And again, is what was bound to happen. I used my stuff earlier, so I only had really slim pickings. Like I'm only missing Silence, I'm missing Lilith, Tsukiyomi, Born, Veronica, Mia, Rosa. So it's very specific units that I'm missing. I have a vast majority of other ones, so it is what it is, right? You can't have them all, you know, it is what it is. Now, in celebration of day 14, I'm gonna do a little bit more pulls here on perma summon, because I got it, right? So we're just gonna go and we're gonna pull until we get a SSR, see what we get. Dude, if I get that achievement for the triple, I'm gonna be happy. Oh, we got a Sutomo. Is that my first Sutomo? Yo, that's actually... It's actually my first Sutomo. I'm like, wait a minute. I don't have that guy. All right, I'll take that. And this is just a celebration of day 14, man. Why not, right? All right, so let's see. So the other thing is too, is like, at this point, like I said, really just trying to save up everything crystal wise. Ooh, I got his sister, Obero. Imagine that. Trying to save up everything crystal wise so that we can refill every day, and then having enough crystals to be able to refill for the 2x is going to be massive. So, all right, there we go. We got an Obero there. And really all I'm trying to do here, I'm actually trying to hit 1,000. That's why I was like, you know what? I need to do that because I want to get the red shadow print out of the shop before it resets. So, all right, let's see. Okay, we got another Valerian. My Valerian has to be almost close to being max at this point. I gotta be like three or four dupes in. All right, we take the Chaki. I need okay, Kachi the guard. Where's Obel at? Dude, it's insane how I've not been able to get an Obel yet. Right? Like, it is insane. This is why I said, like, I had somebody ask me the other day, they was like, hey dude, like, should I go and like try chasing a unit for this reason? I'm like, I don't think that's a good idea, brother. Like you can go hundreds of pulls without pulling a specific unit, especially even if they're SRs. Like it definitely is possible. All right, let's see. All right, come on, number 41. Who do we get? Kazumi Kazuyo. I think she might be the only one. Yeah, Kazumi Kazuyo. All right, so we got 140 for there. Let's see. I don't know how many pulls we're in, but hey, YOLO. All right, let's see. Okay. All right, and Obel? Question mark? Okay, we're in the unbound. Where Obel at, man? I feel like he's sitting in his senior citizen chair. There's like no way. All right, so we should be coming up close to the pity. I think we're already at soft. Yeah, there we go. All right, let's see what we get here. All right, I don't know, man. All right, Sybil. Wow. Dude, I wanted Mia so bad. Oh, dude, that's crazy. Okay. Yeah, we got Mia now. That's huge. That's huge. I take that. I take that. Yeah, so we got Mia now. I'm not mad at that. Dude, I will take that. So, you know, we win some, you lose some, we walk away. We walk away. So again, I really was only doing that personally because I wanted to get this red shadow print out of here. So I'm going to go ahead and snatch that. And then we're basically done for the next like 2 weeks with the shop. So yeah, that's basically that. We'll see, maybe we'll see. But either way, man, as far as everything else and what we're basically doing to progress, main thing that we're basically working on here with the account, now that I've gone through the lengths of like seeing what I could get, I got a dupe of Shia. Shia I do plan on building, because the one thing that I'm like trying to make sure that I'm doing as I'm progressing is trying to get a handle on having a respective DPS for each attribute. Like right now I got Ramoka. We got the Ting for Dark. Even though he's single target, he still works for right now. We're using Messiah. I'm going to be rebuilding back up my Leon for red, because we were using her. Really, the only thing we reset was for the lattice, but I still have the mats to take her all the way back up. So we're going to be taking her back up. So I'll have my red. I'll have my green. I need a blue DPS, which is going to be my Shia. So that's kind of that. And then as far as like the supports and like having certain like healers and stuff like that, Mia's actually really, really good. I'm definitely gonna consider like where I might use her as far as like things like what's his name, Aurora, or even your Terramatan team. She's gonna be much better in slower comps, right? So like that's kind of like the whole thing with her. Shield, heal, she can cool down, extend buffs, shorten the duration of all debuffs. Like she's a nasty unit, right? And really, even for what it's worth, the main thing that you're getting from her skill ups here is like cooldown. So I'm actually really, really hyped that I got this unit. I'm actually gonna favorite her because I think she's actually very underrated for support. A lot of players, you know, they look at healers just a certain way, which I get it, right? I get the sentiment, but with certain units, even for like every buff carried by all allied animuses, Mia gains a 3.5% damage reduction, stacking up to 8 times. Like that's kind of like an important part, right? Like I think like, you know, identifying what kind of comps you're using, if you're using buff versus debuff oriented comps, really can make a unit shine a lot more, right? And I feel like for the most part, most teams are pushed more towards like debuff oriented so that they can have like, you know, their DPS nuking and stuff like that. But some of those buff oriented team comps actually do have things that allow them to pop off in more longer form runs. So that's actually what I'm gonna be like trying to invest in, especially for my Terramatan and my Aurora, right? Mia, I definitely think is gonna be a pretty nice addition to it. Even though I'm in Hell 4 now, I feel like her like level of sustain will be really, really nice too. Even being able to counteract some of the stuff that you got to deal with with Aurora. So that's that, right? So that's kind of what we're dealing with right now. And this is all because of the fact that, like we mentioned before, we have the Animus reconfigure, right? So I'm going to everywhere else but where I need to go, the event. There we go. The Animus reconfigure. So I got one more that I can technically do here. And so this is why today was such an important day, because I felt like today you wanted to make sure that you did everything else on your account so that you could basically try to see what it was that you were going to be resetting. So for me, I don't really have anything else that I really want to or need to reset. I'm just going to continue to build up from here. The main thing is just making sure that what we're really focused on is farming our shells. I would say like the biggest thing is, you know, accumulating as much resources as possible. Shells right now, I think, are probably the hottest commodity because there is no 2 times for it. The other thing is too, is that, and this is just kind of like more food for thought, when you're thinking about like your shells, that jump into Inferno, and I get it. I know everybody, I want to be in Inferno. Everybody wants to be in Inferno, right? But really, to be honest, when you get into Inferno and you're able to do Inferno, you should not be actually building new shells. You should be imprinting them. And this is why I'm not like feeling so bad about not having it yet, because if I build up and I take this week, right, up until the 21st to actually build up all of my shells, by the time I get into Inferno, all I'm doing is imprinting them, which is literally transferring over. So if I farm and I get one that has a drop for the shell that I need, I'm just transferring them, right? And that's the biggest thing. So that's why, like, if you look through all your characters and you identify, okay, I need this for that character, I need that for this character, you go and you pre-build all those right now, right? And like I showed you guys, like, and I show a lot of this stuff on stream, but like main thing is like, if you look at like my account, I'm really starting to like flesh that out, right? Like I starting to like really make sure I have all of the dupes necessary. Like I'm gonna develop another gigabyte, which I think I need to finish one here, right? So I gotta finish this gigabyte. I might make another one. I'm doing a revelation, right? At least having one of those is, I feel like, kind of important. A codex of magic is gonna be very, very important. So I'm just making sure I'm covering my general bases, right? And the other thing is too, when you're thinking about farming in this manner, right? Even if there isn't a shell that I'm considering building right now, if I'm farming, like say, if we go back and we're farming, let's say Sharon, right? Say we're farming Sharon and we're trying to get, I don't know, let's say we're trying to get Halloween. I'm naturally farming Golden Lion. I'm naturally farming, Dark Moon. I'm naturally farming Supernova. So you're going to be organically grinding those things to where you're not actually going to have to like seek them, right? Like maybe you might have to do some like more grinding if you're not getting the set bonus you want. But as far as the dupes required for you to be able to build them, like even this Jackal, right? Like I can literally build up a Jackal right now fully. All I have to do is just make sure I get the training data. Same thing with the revelation. Like I have enough revelations to max out a revelation right now, right? Organically, the amber, right? I have enough to work on an amber. And that's just what it's going to be as you're grinding. I will say that the biggest bang for your buck too, without the ×2, is shells right now. Modules will come, right? And so that's what we're going to be blasting on the 2 times. And then I would say the only other thing that's really important to make sure that you're doing, so don't get so consumed with like everything else that you negate the other stuff, right? So like your arena, make sure you're going to be on top of that. I got to actually start pushing some RTA because I'm not really farming anything else. So I'm keeping my gear kind of stationary. And that's like one of the rough things. I'm hoping that at some point, something like it gets implemented to make it much easier. But in all honesty, I think that that's why, like I was telling a lot of you guys in stream, that I'm trying to take advantage of getting my characters geared properly. So I don't have to think about putting gear on a character when I want to do something. Like they just have their own base generalized gear, and that's kind of like the goal. This is why I'm like, let me just grind out all my shells, give everybody their own shell if I can help it. Then when it comes to modules, making sure I have enough Etheria coin stacked up so I can level up enough gear, even if the gear isn't perfect. But if it has the main stats, I can slap them on characters for right now, and then I can tweak things as I go, especially for the main roster of units that I really am using for content, just to make sure that we're not running into any more situations where I'm sitting in arena and then I come back and my battle report says I lost 50 times, right? And so that's something that I think is like really, really important. Now that I'm here too, let me actually swap my gear. because this is something that it happens every single time, and I'm just like, dude, like I'm like, dude, this is how you get clapped. And this is why I think it's so important. Like, what the analogy I've been basically trying to like just further emphasize is not trying to climb, you know, to the, you know, the 5th floor of the tower, but actually walking up the tower, right? So like people are trying to jump on the outside like they're Incredible Hulk to the 5th floor, but instead you could just take the stairs, right? And so that's basically the mentality. And so ultimately with that, I feel like that's going to actually allow players to have a much easier time with actually getting through the game. This week in particular, especially with all you guys that are playing right now, I think it's really going to be super, super beneficial. So outside of that, it's just basically all maintenance stuff at this point. The hyperlink charter, we are kind of coming to a close on some of the missions here. We're like 7 out of 11. I need to beat this Kururu, and then that'd be a whole nother page done, fully equipping the SSRs. Then we have the one more run of Terramaton, and I'm done with this page, so I need to finish that. And then we have the 20 recycle mythics, any mythic shell carrying 2 red tier passives. So we're gonna finish that, right? We're gonna also get the Sharon Inferno done. That's more stamina pots. So as long as you're basically trucking along, this is like a sweet spot to be at for right now. We have literally right now, I think 3 more days before the 2 times happens. So drain your stamina as much as you realistically can. Just continue to grind out. Don't feel so pressured like, hey, I'm not at Inferno yet. You will be able to get there, right? And so we'll have more videos coming as we start to push that content, really to try to help players so that they can get their teams more auto-friendly. Because a lot of people are manualing a lot of stuff, and that's really, really taxing if you're not trying to try hard or, you know, super sweat. So yeah, man, I mean, that's basically where we're at right now. Everything else we'll do on stream. And that's currently our day 14. So hopefully your pools went a lot better than mine. Granted, we got Mia, so I'm not mad at that. But hopefully you got something good on your SSR ticket. Let me know what you got actually in the comment section down below. Everybody, stay blessed, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.